Kirby. He's a baby to know. And the topic of this week's video. Or more specifically, I should probably say that we're talking about this little lad's first adventure, and not that one. Kirby's Dreamland was released by HAL Laboratory in 1992 for the original Game Boy, and features you as Kirby, going from level to level, fighting bosses on your way to stop King Dedede. For what reason, you ask? Well, King Dedede decided to be a fat fuck one day and stole all the food in the kingdom. And Kirby, the little gluttonous scamp he is, decides he's not having any of it, and heads off to stop him. Pretty simple stuff. After all, there can only be one hungry lad that eats everything in this land, and it is going to be him. This being Kirby's first adventure, not that one, you have a lot of groundwork that the series would build off of from here. It has the same design philosophy of being an easy game anyone can play that still offers challenges to those who look for them. The same gameplay that so many have come to love and adore throughout the series going forward. You even get this. There is one major exception, however, that will be immediately apparent if you've ever played another Kirby game before. You don't have any copy abilities. That's right. Kirby can suck. But he can't do much with the enemies he eats other than throw them out of his gob at some poor soul that gets in Kirby's way. This doesn't seem like that big a deal at first, but it does change how you go about playing this game compared to others in the series, as you are totally reliant on either spitting enemies out or puffing air at them from floating. No sword, no fire, no ice, no singing your enemies to death. This on paper doesn't really seem like it would really impact the game that much as a whole at first, but it does change how you go about challenges here compared to other entries in the series. You also don't get any Meta Knight either, something I actually didn't even remember until I went back to play this game recently because he's such a major part of the series. All in all, Kirby's Dreamland itself is a pretty good first entry and a great introduction to the concepts and ideas that would evolve the series to where it is today. Even if they colored him wrong on the box, god damn it. But what kind of legacy has this game left overall? Well, to start with, I think we should make note of how impressive this game really is. Especially when you realize that most of this game was built without a keyboard. That's right. Masahiro Sakurai designed the earliest builds of Kirby's Dreamland with a modified Famicom, along with just a trackball. No keyboard can be used due to limitations of the hardware, leading to every line of code being manually entered using an on-screen keyboard. This made the development of this title extremely grueling. The trade-off, however, did mean that the game holds up today visually extremely well, especially compared to other Game Boy titles. I think we can also make some note of the lad of the hour himself, Kirby. He almost wasn't even the cute ball of godly power we know him for today. In fact, his design was originally just a temporary placeholder. He just sort of stuck around. Thank God he did. I don't know how I'd feel, really, if Kirby was anything else other than that adorable little ball. I love him. After Kirby's Dreamland, Kirby would later get a pretty huge upgrade as a late NES game that, despite its 1993 release well into the SNES's life, would go on to define what the series would be going forward, leading to Dreamland's own successor taking more cues from the NES game rather than the first game in the series. The Dreamland sub-series itself would finally peter out in 1995 with surprisingly not a portable title but instead an SNES entry. Following this, Kirby's Dreamland would be referenced or re-released in multiple forms over time. Kirby Superstar featured a shortened form of the game with the added copy ability. This remake would end up getting remade itself in Kirby Superstar Ultra on the 3DS later on. Kirby's Dreamland would also get re-releases on the 3DS Virtual Console on its own in 2011. And I'd also be remiss if I didn't talk about the fantastic Kirby's Dream Collection on the Wii, which also featured this game as one of its playable entries. This game also received a lot of love in the Super Smash Bros. Series, starting with the Green stage in Super Smash Bros. Melee, followed by a stage in Super Smash Bros. 4 creatively named Dreamland GB. Speaking of Smash Bros., Kirby's Dreamland would be the first of many projects directed by Masahiro Sakurai, most famous for the series that will continue taking up the rest of his mortal and immortal life. He gives big break handling Kirby, and he's made a point of paying that back through the representation of the characters through his other works. It really shows how much love he has for the characters that he's never really thought about ever leaving them behind in anything else he's done. Kirby would end up being featured in the first Super Smash Bros. Game, with a cameo from our good friend DDD. And that cameo itself would evolve into him finally being playable in that not very good Smash Bros. Game that no one really likes all that much. Along with Mad Knight, but we're not talking about his game yet. Rumor also has it that DDD was planned for this first Smash Bros, but ended up being cut due to time constraints. Much like I'm going to do with this video, right here, and choosing to cut things off. Overall, I think that Kirby's Dreamland is an excellent look at not only the beginnings of a series, but of a career as well. Without Kirby, I doubt Sakurai would be in the position he is today, for better or for worse. And I imagine without the grueling challenges he faced here, he wouldn't have grown into the director he is now. I like to think that Kirby has changed not only the gaming industry as a whole, but has also touched the hearts of all of us in one way or another. I know Kirby has for me. I will never stop loving Kirby's adventures.